Alright guys, Tom Lawrence here from highlyeffectiveleader.com. Having the ability to communicate, and most of all connect, is first and foremost in becoming successful. If you can't do that, then you need to learn how. Using your imagination, what would your team and your organization look like with a lot more leaders? Imagine the low-performing leaders changing their attitude and making the decision to work on themselves with your help. Imagine how you could help your leader and the other leaders too. What could you do to help and support them? How could you help to turn their teams into leaders? You have a new wealth of knowledge throughout this online course, How Leaders Influence Great Results. Imagine the difference you could make in your organization and your industry with that knowledge. Thinking about your own team first, who on your team are leaders? Who on your team are low performing, if any? When you go back to your team, what are you going to discuss with them? What action will you take to help improve your team, both as a whole and as individuals? How are you going to make your organization a great place to work? How can you help your organization bring in new and better talent? How can you help your organization retain their leaders? How are you going to feel when you go back to work and you are with your team? How are they going to feel when they're with you? How can you help your team to start feeling better about themselves and their place of work? These are all very direct questions, and you don't have to answer them all at once, but they are definitely questions that you should think about while you're going through this online course. You should also think about how to answer these questions when sharing what you are learning from this course with your team. Everybody can improve, not least the low-performing members that we have on our own teams and who are on other teams within our organizations. However, for us to continuously improve, we must work on ourselves every day. And to do that, we must have the right attitude. As we've discussed on many occasions, a low-performing team or leader's attitude towards change or improvement is wrong. So, when sharing these new actions from this online course with the low-performing teams and leaders, we need to work on helping them change their attitude first. We do that by making a connection with them. To make a connection, we must first show our low-performing leaders the way by leading by example. We must commit to not only learning the actions that are on this online course, but by deliberately choosing to implement them for ourselves first. We need to prove that these actions work, and when doing so, we will start to see attitudes changing. Our influence will increase with our team, and the relationships that we have will become stronger. With increasing our influence with the low-performing leaders, we will start to build trust and relationships with them too. Things will start to feel better within our own teams and throughout the organization. Making the choice to lead by example is one that we must make when we want to implement what we are learning from this online course. We cannot let others make any choices for us, and we cannot let what we are learning to go to waste by doing nothing. So let's make the commitment to action implementation today for ourselves, for our teams, and for our organization. Let's choose to be the leader. It's up to you. The first time I made the choice to take action with my team and help them to work towards becoming highly effective leaders was when I first moved to London. I worked as an engineering performance manager, and I was part of a team based at a West London train depot. One of the team was a technical engineer called Phil. He was a really good engineer. However, he wasn't a leader and wasn't very approachable when it came to teamwork or other team-based activities. At the time, I considered him a low performer because of his lack of consideration for the team. All he really cared about was getting his work done, making sure the trains were working well, and then going home at the end of the day. He made sure the bosses knew what he did, but not what the team did. There was one occasion in 2015 when I had just employed a new technical engineer to join Phil as part of the engineering performance team. His name was Freddie, and I wanted him to work closely with Phil at the beginning for 2 reasons. The first reason was to try and bring Phil out of his shell and embrace that he was part of a team and that his job was to help his teammates. And the second was to see if Freddie could learn anything from Phil, as he was a really good engineer. Neither reason worked. Freddie came back to me and told me that Phil was not working well or cooperating with him at all. Freddie asked Phil, "How have you managed to keep the trains performing so well for so long?" And Phil's reply was, "I'm sorry, Freddie, you'll have to find out for yourself. I'm not willing to give away my own secrets on how I do my job well. Nobody helped me, so I'm not going to help you." He was not an approachable person whatsoever, and he was making life difficult for everybody. Phil was not connecting with anyone, including me, so I needed to take action. So I sat down with Phil for a one-to-one, and I asked him the question, "Would you consider yourself a leader?" And he replied, "Yes." I asked, "How?" And he said, "Because I'm the one who's keeping our trains performing, nobody else." I couldn't really believe what I was hearing. I continued, "So how is the fact that you claim to keep the trains performing and nobody else a part of teamwork? What was the team's contribution?" And he couldn't answer that question, so he continued to tell me what he had done and was doing to keep the trains running. Phil's problem wasn't that he was an ignorant person or had a bad attitude. It was the way he had been brought up throughout his career. He was taught that it was every person for themselves. From his previous places of work, teamwork was not really promoted or supported. So I decided that the action I would take was to teach my own team about what a team is, what a team does, and how we can make things better by being a team. This was my opportunity to lead by example with my team and hopefully the rest of the department. We spent 2 days in the classroom learning together. What is a team? How can we be a team? And I told them what my expectations of our team are. Then finally, for the team to come back to me on how we were going to achieve my expectations. All I did was listen. I left it up to the team to work out how they would gel as a team and how they can achieve the desired results. Listening to the team speak to each other and to me with such passion on how they were going to achieve my expectations was the most enjoyable part of the 2 days. I knew it was going to work because of the vigor in each person's voice, and the passion for the team was amazing. They connected with each other and with me. I had taught them how to be a team, and they were now implementing what they had learned. Over the next weeks and months, Phil had a transformation like none I had ever seen. He was becoming a leader. He was openly sharing his ideas, his knowledge, and even helped the apprentices and graduates when they visited the depot. I was, and I am still extremely proud of Phil, as he still works in the same team and is helping the same organization in the same way every single day. To connect with others, you must first build relationships with them, and to do that, you must share with them. That is how you build trust. When you connect, you increase your influence, first within your own team, then multiply your influence with your department, your organization, and your industry by continuing to connect with others. How are you going to implement what you have learned so far in this online course? And what will you learn through my other online courses? How are you going to help your team to work towards becoming a highly effective leader? How are you going to help other teams within your department and within your organization? To build relationships with your team, you need to spend time with them. You need to share your knowledge, your ideas, your opinions, and you need to help them, and most of all, you need to listen to them. So, action steps that I would like you to complete following this video. Number 1, Spend time with your team, as we have been talking about, and continue to build on the relationships you already have. This is how you connect with them. Number 2, share what you now know about connecting with your team and with others in your organization. Become the connector and the leader of how you are going to help the other leaders become connectors too. And number 3, help your team to work towards becoming leaders just like you. Help them to develop so that they are good enough to move on from your team and your organization. But treat them well enough so they don't want to leave. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel to keep learning more strategies on leadership, personal growth, and influence that will benefit you in both your personal and professional life. Connect with me on my other social media channels too to keep in contact and up to date on what I am doing. And please visit my website, highlyeffectiveleader.com, to learn even more valuable strategies in the area of leadership, personal growth, and how you can increase your influence. Please download my free ebook, Increase Your Influence, by clicking the link in the description below this video.